15,000 you get in shillings, but you can still choose to invest more than that. But Zabo simply says, well, bring 15,000 again in shillings, let us grow together. You're thinking where to invest your money in the current economy globally, which is a little bit shaky. This is one of the ways you can actually have that efficient. That's why Zab boldly comes out and says, my money, my future. And Altec East Africa tells you, well, you got to do something new. It's 2023. Well, now it's time to get inspired for this morning. Mas, you ready for the inspiration?
I'm very ready.
Absolutely.
Very ready. I woke up energized.
Energized.
You people wake up energized.
What could have been caused the energization?
The energy. Waking up knowing.
Could it be a financial breakthrough?
Not entirely that, but waking up knowing. Waking up knowing you have to show up.
Yeah.
And present to people. That is something really that inspires me every day.
Good.
Having
Purpose.
Impact. Having purpose.
Purpose and impact.
Purpose is good. Waking up and you have nothing to do and it's a working day. It's devastating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is why they say work with passion. Wherever you are, you work with passion. Wake up in the morning with the energy to do what you love. Do what you love. What you love. Yeah. That is why you wake up with a good energy. Because you're going to do what you love.
Absolutely, do what you love. And now, of course, with doing what you love, you need to get inspired as we're heading into our inspirational moment, Smart Men's Business. Let's get into our business tips and quotes at this very point in time. Well, that is it regarding our inspirational moment, our business tips and quotes.
Believe you already. You believe you are done. You're there, and you'll be half there. I don't know, half there. If we could go back and maybe have a few of the things. But then the first one was about hiring the right people.
The right people.
It also matters actually. If you're in the business community, you have to hire the people that you feel are right for the job. Not everybody is going to be, qualified to do the job. We know we have this, our relatives, our family has to, be involved. But are you really certain they're the right people for the job?
There was actually a report, one of the prominent people that wrote something, actually I remember it was in the press. And it was talking about how people feel so, they call it being entitled. Let me say, that's the right word to use, being entitled about something because you feel like, hey, I have this person is into this high office, but you don't take an initiative to invest in yourself, to understand what kind of job you're going to do, to invest in yourself, to understand, do you have the credentials that can actually meet up to the standards of that job you're going to do? Because remember, this is somebody's business. They're paying you money because you have the expectations, but what are you bringing to the table?
That is really important. You as a person, you as the relative, as the son, as the cousin, as the nephew, the niece, what is it? If it's a media company, you have to have studied journalism, or you have to have, You have to have a know-how.
Exactly.
Know-how on how it's done.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just throwing you and then you don't know what to do.
Yeah, because education is way beyond what you can actually obtain in class, but it's what that initiative you take and you do your personal study when nobody is actually seeing you.
Yeah.
I don't want to give an example of Abraham Lincoln, one of the best presidents the United States of America has ever had, but he didn't go to school, like to start and get a degree. No, that he was a learned person. There is a difference between
being
studying, educated, and being learned. So, but I believe both are better.
Yeah, both are better, really.
But in most cases, the learned and they're not educated tend to thrive further in the world.
That is why you see, people usually say, well, our grandmothers are not educated, but they have the knowledge. Like, there's that natural knowledge that they have. Our grandparents, because, I mean, they are learned. They know this is not supposed to be done this way.
Exactly.
They have the discipline, they have the knowledge, you know. Education is just books. You're getting into books, you read. But then being learned is having general knowledge, like knowledge, understanding, like wisdom.
Exactly.
You're differentiating.
Being wise about something.
Yeah, being wise about something. So that is what differentiates between being learned and, of course, being knowledgeable about being educated.
Okay.
So definitely, please, hire the right people. Know the people that are good for your job. Yeah. Know the kind of people that give you a good working environment, really. It also matters. The people that give you a good working environment, how you connect with people also matters. You cannot bring in a toxic person, a person that is always going to give you a headache. No, no.
All through,
you have to find people, or certain particular people that, you know what, we're going to discuss this and this is it. You know, we have an understanding.
Yeah.
So definitely, no sneaking out on each other. No ratting out the other. You have to be one voice.
Absolutely.
That is the one thing that is affecting the business community. You know, the working space.
Yeah.
You know, you put in an employee, the person is an accountant. All of a sudden, they're not giving accountability on where the money is going to, where it's being spent. You know, accounting, finance is where the issue goes on. You know, so
accountability.
If it comes to accountancy, you have to put that person you really trust. Oh my God.
Exactly. I absolutely agree with you. Well, I hope you've been inspired by those talks, definitely, coming in from our Business Tips and Calls segment. But of course, we believe on Smart Means Business. We always think that for you to actually be productive in some sort of a way, you need to be inspired as an entrepreneur in most cases. Now, away from that, heading to our point of discussion in here, passport fraud. Uganda.
Passport fraud.
And you see, at some point in time when we talk about the passport fraud, this is the East African passport that is being put out there. You know, besides looking at spoiling Uganda's image outside there, let's take a look at the entire integration process. You know, because if it's the East African passport, what is the international community going to actually perceive about trading with them? And we of course, recently we had the East African Business Investment Summit, and are looking to see ways how we can actually synthesize the synergies of, to bring together all the factors of production within the different East African nations so that we can have one block, you know. And actually some of the aspects being discussed in there includes having that particular product that East Africa is actually known for.
And that is, for now, it's the East African passport.
The East African passport, which because if we talk about integration, like somebody actually said, probably the only dimension we've tested integration is through the East African passport, but it's not yet fully integrated.
It's not yet fully integrated, but it's not recognized in some countries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now that is the worrying aspect.
It's not our fault, really. It's not the fault of the citizens, really. I don't think.
Sure.
Yeah. It's not our fault. Definitely, maybe in the systems of those countries, they do not know of it. They know maybe individual passports.
Individual passports, because in Uganda they give diplomatic.
Yeah, official and ordinary.
Ordinary.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
the East African is the blue passport.
The blue passport.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the biggest question is in here. I understand the majority of the Ugandans don't really love delays. We always believe in quick fixes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I have the money, I go get the express. And now I need to ask myself, how certain am I that actually this passport I'm getting is actually authentic? You know, and some sort of that is something to really examine and take into great consideration. Because
I don't think, by the way, I don't think we ever take notice. I don't think we think through on how authentic or maybe fake it could be. What matters at that time is you getting the passport or the visa to go out, to leave, to go for your business appointments that you had, or maybe to go and do your business in trade. So definitely it never crosses the mind of someone. But then you have to know the agency that you've actually gone to. If you went to immigration, you wouldn't have any problem with it. You know, there is a means nowadays, online. Although, I mean, getting it may take a little longer. That is what makes it even more authentic, the waiting. Because there are very many people on the line, on the queue. But anyway, for you as a person, me personally, I would never know.
You would never know.
I would never know. Is there, okay, maybe we could have a thing to show us, or maybe like the way we see money, the way we look through money, people raising the money
be able to
to see if it's authentic or fake. Maybe that could be also an issue with the passport. You could have a way of looking through the passport and be like, oh, I don't think this is really authentic.
All right, but I would actually really believe that once this aspect goes really so gross, it will be all put onto the East Africa. You know, I mean, trying to actually involved in fraud. I don't know whether we've actually seen it from that particular perspective, which could actually also, that means even in Kenya, chances are high. For example, in Denmark, if our passports are not recognized, chances are high that even somebody from Tanzania, Rwanda, or Kenya will actually face the same fate as a result of that. So, and once we have regional trade kind of sabotaged, if the Kenyan trade is sabotaged, because remember, as much as we go to these nations to trade with them, there is also this aspect of sharing business ideologies, cutting across, you know. So that could actually be very sabotaging to the entire East African nation and missing out the bigger picture from
and
that
of course,
perspective.
This leads us to our question. If you were found out with a fraudulent passport as a business person, what is the one thing you would do? Do you know what you would do actually?
What would you do if you found out your business
call
person
home and say,
you actually realized,
I'm staying here. But of course, one of the ways you could do, you found out that maybe passed it into the biometrics and it doesn't, you just call an attorney or a lawyer and then call them.
Call them.
Yeah, consult one, and you know they can give you more. They're actually usually there around the airport and all that. So they could give you guidance on the next step.
Okay.
Don't say a word. Don't say I got it from the broker. No. Remain silent until your lawyer or your attorney comes.
Your lawyer and attorney comes in through.
Yeah.
All right. I love that. And also we did. There is some aspect if you discover that actually you have a fake passport. Evaluate the business implications that could actually come along with that, because that is something that you need to do, because assessing the potential of the impact of this discovery, of course that is on one's business. Now, depending on the circumstances that are surrounding at that particular time, there may be business related consequences that could come across that, such as contract breaches and of course damaged relationships, and it may be necessary to notify business partners or stakeholders about what you actually discovered. Breach of contracts. You entered a contract with another business personnel, but because you found out and you didn't report the aspect, some other business partners are not going to take you seriously, and you're bound to lose very potential business relationships, which could actually take you to a whole new level of profitability.
Of course, you could also report to authorities, the people responsible.
The authorities,
the people responsible for issuing out passports and visas. Call them and tell them, you know what, people, I am stranded.
I'm stranded.
How is it that I possess a fake visa or passport? How? Why?
Exactly.
Did something go wrong? You know, they could actually talk to the authorities on the airport as well, so that they can issue. Because now that is not your part to play. You could be actually held for criminal charges, people, for trafficking, drug, anything can come. Money laundering, anything can come
across
at that point.
Yes.
So you have to remain silent, call for a lawyer. You know, call authorities to come in Okay, don't try to be stubborn and use that very passport.
Don't try to do that.
Don't try it, because you will face jail.
Yes.
And trust me, no one will come for you. Well, being honest, no one will come in for you.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And still on top of that, you can seek some professional advice. This could be from a financial expert, an advisor or accountant. That is to address any financial or tax-related implications that may arise as a result of the situation. Because first of all, with the tax authorities, probably, you know, when you're being cleared at the borders in there, I mean at the airport rather, you could be, if you found that you have a fake passport, probably, you know, there is discovery and you keep on using it, chances are high that you might face tax implications. Like you said, you could be, of course, charged with smuggling. So that's why you need expert advice. When you discover that you get a fake passport.
Yeah, and they do like background check that time. Oh my God.
They will do background check.
They will interrogate you. They will do background check. Get you just an innocent citizen, just going to do your vacation or do whatever business you were into, but really.
Yeah.
So be cautious. Be really smart. And I believe most of the business community people, those that have not taken initiative to go out, people be like, oh, why do I need a passport? But you're gonna need it. You're a business person. Why wouldn't you have a passport? I believe every citizen is supposed to have a passport. Absolutely. That is why I call for more of these reach outs. Yeah. You know, education on how to use the passport, the different portals and protocols to follow to get a passport. You know, anytime your grandmother could need a passport. People, that is why we're having this kind of fraud happening, because people need fast. I need it. I need to go to the hospital. I need to go to Kenya. I need to go to Dubai.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, that is the desperation that is happening. Yeah. That is why I have mafiri. Like most people call them in Uganda, bafiri.
Bafiri, yeah.
So, one of the ways to really, the right order to really purchase, to get a passport, number one, online. Actually, online.
Now we are assuming that person doesn't have a passport and they really want to, or even if you discover that you have a fake passport, you can actually go through the right channels of obtaining one.
We want to know how a fake passport looks like, really. I want to know how a fake, because I mean, you could be having you can't even differentiate between what is good and what is bad. That's why
there was the proposal to introduce a passport that is more of like chip related.
Oh yeah.
That was happening. I had a discussion with the spokesperson of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. That was in 2022, before the current one. And they were talking about the introduction of that. But of course, it's not yet fully in effect. But it would be one of the ways to address issues to do with fraud, whereby your information is all embedded in that one chip, which is like, and that's where the entire globe is heading as a country.
So if you want to do online application, you could go to the passport portal.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course you could actually accept the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
That's key. And of course answer a few security questions. Of course they're going to ask you questions. What are you going to do? It's kind of like an interrogation part. Once you go there physically, it's very hard for most people.
Yeah.
People start panicking, and you talk, because now it's face to face. You look at the person, they're telling you, why do you need it? Why do you? And you can't really give a clear. And they ask you twisted questions. That's the funny part. And of course, answer those simple questions, and of course complete the application form, follow whatever requirements that are needed for that form. That is when you're applying online, and then print the passport application payment advice form. Okay, there is always that payment form. Then make payments for a selected type of passport. There is official, like we told you. There is diplomatic and ordinary.
Yeah.
Okay. Then schedule appointment for the date of your convenience using the scheduled appointment link on the home page. That is when to pick it up. Then print a passport application appointment form. Then report to the selected passport center with the passport appointment form and the appropriate requirements. Now, these are the requirements for the renewal of the Ugandan passport if you want to renew.
Yeah.
Yeah, if yours is old or expired and you want to renew it, got lost, there is a renewal, you need your national ID, please. I can't believe there is a Ugandan out there that does not possess a national ID. If
No,
my nieces...
It's a little bit bureaucratic to get those national IDs.
Yes, depending on how, I believe some people look at you and they're like, no, I don't think you got... Some people have gotten those issues with the names, you know, but it's all good. Get yourself a national ID. If you're not required yourself one, get it, because that is one of the requirements that is needed to get yourself a passport. You need a national ID. National, you have to be a citizen of Uganda, and of course present your old passport that is for renewal if you want yours to be renewed. Maybe if yours got lost, it could be another alternative. Recommendation letter for Ugandan national of good understanding and security who knows your citizenship. That is, if you do not require, you don't have a national ID, you need a recommendation letter that you're a citizen of Uganda.
Absolutely.
Okay. And of course, in the event that you are making any changes, change of profession, names due to marital status, you know, marriage, you will be required to attach a relevant legal proof of these changes. If you're a Miss then, and now you're going to be you're a Mrs. now, that is also needed. That's and all that. If you have a profession or making changes in your profession, ensure that you attach a photocopy of your academic transcript or certificate. Okay. Academic transcript for the professional wise, those that are into going in for jobs. Then the fee is 250,000 Ugandan shillings, 250,000. No one should lie to you. 250,000 Ugandan shillings for replacement for your passport. Then, of course, express fees is an extra of 150,000 Ugandan shillings. Bank charges exclusive. So when you get for express, you get 250,000 plus 150,000. That is approximately 400,000. That is 400,000. That's it. Beyond that, man, I don't know what you're getting yourself into. I don't know. If you're being paid, asked for 800,000, man, that is on you. That is on you. And if at all you pay all that money and you get a fake one, trust me, that's a huge loss.
Absolutely. A majority have been, scammed from that perspective. There are different social media platforms, I'm told, that actually can help you to get those passports. You pay about 800,000 Ugandan shillings. Well, if it works out for you and you go to the airport and they discover that it's actually, if it's perfect, well and good. But if you are a victim of fraud, then you get a thing twice the next time you're actually thinking about holding that is another passport to head in out there. Well, it's 27 minutes past 8, and of course with discussion with matters to do with passport fraud, which is actually highly increasing. As we can see, majority of the people, most especially the Ugandans that have been traveling to Malaysia, and they have discovered that they actually don't have authentic passports, something which has been really ongoing in the media for some weeks back. But of course, we are here at Smart Means Business to ensure that you actually don't fall victim, and that's why we're here to give you this rich information so that you can make the right decision as a business person and as somebody that is pursuing a career and is up to something in life. Well, still to remind you of the notice, if you're really thinking of where to invest your money today in Uganda following the current economic challenges, it's quite very simple. Zabo is here for you, and it is going to enable you to buy bonds and securities for just 15,000 Ugandan shillings, though you can still choose to invest more than 15,000 Ugandan shillings and still execute the business. But Zabo says, well, bring that so that we can grow together. Now, the market's already opened as we speak right now. They opened at exactly 8:15 and they'll be running all the way to 3:15 p.m. That is the South African time. And this is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays, all those markets cannot be accessed. But of course, that's not the big deal. You have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money, something which I believe personally it's quite key and important when it comes to your financial growth and development. Zabo confidently comes out and says, my money, my future. And also East Africa tells you, well, you got to do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Well, now Smart Means Business takes a short break. But of course, when we return, we have something from the sports, business, and entertainment. Stick around.